Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode with Leveled Women. Today, we're going to be talking about how to stop doubting ourselves as women. I think this is going to be a really important topic to this platform because so many of us don't give ourselves enough credit. And so, we're going to be talking about some ways that we can identify that we have a lot of self doubt, and also some ways that we can combat those self defeating thoughts, those negative defeating talks or conversations that we may engage in, and also some things that we may be saying about ourselves to ourselves subconsciously and also just consciously as well. As a student of psychology, I have learned that a lot of self doubt comes from learned behavior. And if it's behavior that's learned, then it's behavior that can be unlearned. So we're going to talk about self doubt. Be sure to grab a notebook if you'd like, grab your favorite snack, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and we're going to get right into it. So I'm going to be looking down at my notes here just to make sure I don't miss anything with today's episode. But what I want to start off talking about is pay attention to where your self doubt is stemming from. Ask yourself, is my self doubt coming from conversations with certain people? Is it coming from different TV shows that I'm watching? Is it coming from different programs that I'm in? What do you notice about yourself in relation to self doubt when you leave certain areas or when you leave a certain presence? What do you notice? Do you feel like you're coming out doubting yourself more? Do you feel like you're coming out feeling less confident? And then once we identify where those areas are or what those trigger points are, we want to really take a deep dive and figure out if we're in the right position or in the right places in our lives. It is super important to make sure that we're grounding ourselves as leveled women with like-minded, healthy individuals. Not perfect, but like-minded, healthy individuals, people that actually want to do better, people that actually want to grow, and people that are actually cognizant of the kind of things that they say and also what they do. And so if you're noticing that you're in company with someone that is always talking down on you, or maybe saying things about you that aren't positive, or planting seeds of self doubt, you want to reevaluate those friendships. You want to reevaluate those circles. My grandmother would always say, Brittany, go where you are celebrated, not where you're tolerated. Even some of those jokes where you may hear someone laugh it off, oh, you're crazy, oh, you do some dumb things. You still want to take heed to those messages and make sure that you're still aligning yourself with the right type of positive self-talk and also positive conversations when you're interacting with other people. Another thing to be cautious about is the areas that you're going. Certain music will impact your brain in a certain way. Certain music makes you feel relaxed automatically, and it's created to do that. And then you have certain music that's created to not make you feel relaxed. You have certain music that may put more self-doubt in you than other music. So be careful about the kind of things that we're, we have to be careful about the kind of things that we're consuming, whether it be music, podcasts, YouTube shows, TV shows. We want to make sure that we are feeding ourselves with the positivity that we deserve. The next thing that I want to talk about is stop asking everyone else what you should do. It is okay to get feedback. It is okay to hear people's opinions, but it's not okay when you create a habit of needing people's permission to live your life. You're needing people's approval to do what it is you want to do. Again, don't take it the wrong way. It is very wise to seek wisdom and counsel from the right people or person. However, to just go through life having to ask about everything that you're doing and not listening to God, not listening to yourself, you can find yourself really self-doubting you, because what ends up happening is sometimes we listen to advice that isn't in our best interest, and it doesn't produce the results that we thought it would have produced. And so we find ourselves sometimes taking steps back, and that aids in our self-doubt. Because a lot of times confidence grows from what we actually do, what we stick to, and what we produce, what we actually see working. And so sometimes we don't go with our best judgment. We don't seek God's guidance. We ask different people that may have a good, and they may have good intentions. They may have a good heart, but they don't have the right answer. And so it's really important to get into therapy even before you think there's anything necessarily wrong. There doesn't have to be anything screaming, wrong or that I need to fix this for you to consult with a therapist. There's nothing wrong with consulting with people that are trained or people that have experience with what you're going through or what you're wanting to make a decision on. And it's nothing wrong with asking friends and family their opinion either. But again, you don't necessarily have to have permission. And we have to get ourselves out of the habit of needing approval, because that can stem from needing validation, needing someone to always like what we're saying and always agree with what we're doing. And that can stem from trauma. So it's important that we take control of our lives. It's important that we are responsible and accountable for our decisions. And we get to a point where we don't have to ask everyone their opinion on everything we're doing. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is keep the promises to yourself. We spend so much time, a lot of us, making sure that we are going to every event that our friends or family invites us to. We make sure that we're keeping our word with everyone that we give our word to, right? And those are good things, great things, right? But sometimes we're not that kind to ourselves. And we'll tell ourselves something like, hey, this weekend I'm not doing anything. And then someone will ask us to do something and we'll do it. We'll break the promise to ourselves. Or we'll say something like, next week I'm going to start my business. And then we'll start thinking about all of the reasons why we shouldn't start it and break the promise to ourselves. Or we'll say, hey, this month I'm going to conquer this fear. And then we'll start doubling down on it and finding ways to not go through with what it is we need to go through with. So one big tool to combat self-doubt is to learn to keep promises that we make to ourselves. Confidence is built through evidence. Follow through with what you say you're going to do, even to yourself. You matter just as much as other people that you're giving your word to. And so sometimes we're kind to everyone else and mean to ourselves. We have to change that. Another thing that I'd like to talk about is watching ourselves talk. So I'm going to mention my grandmother again. She's given me so many life lessons and jewels throughout my entire life, and I thank her greatly for that. One of the things that she taught me is to always speak truth. In high school, I would go through different phases where I would be not as confident and I would second guess myself and I would say, maybe I'm just not smart enough to do this, or maybe I'm just not cool enough to hang with this crowd. And my grandmother would say, speak the truth, okay? The truth is you are smart. The truth is God created you in his image. The truth is you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And when I got older, I realized why it's important for me to read my Bible, because it reinforces truth and it tells me who I am, where I come from, and whose I am. And so with that information, I'm able to take that and I'm able to use that through my daily life. And anytime that I hear or I start thinking a doubtful thought that isn't true, I'm able to replace it with truthful scripture. So it is super important to get in the habit of speaking truth to yourself and being very aware of the kind of things that you're saying about yourself, even in conversation. Sometimes you may try to laugh off different things that you say about yourself. You may say, well, that's just me. I'm really clumsy, or I'm really not good with keeping up with homework, or me, I'm always going to do something crazy. Don't do that. Speak life into yourself. Speak truth about yourself. Speak positively about yourself. There's already so much negativity in the world and so much that we're filtering in every single day that the least we can do is be truthful and positive to ourselves. Being positive doesn't mean that we're omitting the truth. Being positive doesn't mean that we're going through life acting as if we're perfect. But being positive means being choosy in the type of words and in the type of environments, type of people, the type of music, just the type of lifestyle that we allow to become embedded in our lives. It's about making the right decisions and the right choices that are going to push us further and not further away from our goal. second to last thing that I want to talk about is stop waiting until you feel ready. Confidence is built after action, not before most times. Sometimes you won't feel like you're ready. You may be self-doubting yourself about a business venture. It could be starting school. It could be starting a new organization. Whatever you desire, you can do that. I want that to be your reminder for anyone out there needing that reminder and that just boost. You can do whatever you plan on doing. You're never too late. You're never you know too old to do what it is you want to do. Okay. But you want to make sure that you're committing to what it is you set forth to do. And one way that we can do that is by not leaning onto our feelings 100% because feelings change. And if you're nervous to do something, or if it's not in your pattern, or um, if it's not if it's not in your regular norm to do what it is you commit to doing, then it's going to feel uneasy and uncertain because it's different. But different doesn't mean that it's wrong. And so sometimes we may not feel like it's the right time or feel like we need to do what it is we need to do, but we need to still act, even if we're not feeling ready, even if we're not feeling completely certain. And by doing that, that creates confidence and that helps combat self doubt. The last thing that I would like to talk about is get around those who strengthen you. It is so important to be in the right community and to surround ourselves with the right people because you're going to notice a completely different shift in energy. When I'm around people that are positive, around people that are wanting to become their best selves, people that are open to growth, there is just a whole different vibe and a whole different experience than when I'm not. Now, not saying that you have to cut everybody off that isn't positive or that doesn't, have a like mind, but it is saying be more aware of the places that you go and the company that you keep, because that's also going to have a direct impact on your confidence. Being around people that are confident, being around people that are, like I said, loving, positive, open to change, will show you through their actions, through their words, how confidence looks. And it's going to look different on everybody, but it gives you a safe place to actually grow the skill of being confident, grow the skill of being consistent, and grow the skill of being true to yourself. So once we're able to grow those tools, again, it's not about being perfect. It's just about being more leveled and becoming the best versions of ourselves. Once we grow those tools, we're able to experience a different level of life. We're able to experience a different version of ourselves, and it does grow our confidence. So I really hope that this video helped today. If anyone has any experiences on what they have gone through that has helped shape their confidence, or any tips that can help our community grow on building confidence, I would love for you to share them. Please use the comment section as much as you'd like. This is a community here in a safe space. I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, you are a leveled woman. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.